Hello and welcome to the show that brings you the best of international water sports action from around the world. On this week's show, we have more sailing action from the 470 World Championships in France. Then we're in The Hague for highlights of the NACRA 17 World Championship. All that to come, but first it's over to Australia for highlights from the Kite Oceanic Championships from Perth.
Twenty 2013 marked the first ever holding of the Kite Oceanic Championships, hosted off the iconic Leighton Beach, a mecca for kiteboarding. Dubbed as a competition which would pitch Oceania's fastest riders against the rest of the world and timed to coincide with the Lighthouse to Leighton race, the stage was set for one massive competition. The lineup of riders included world and European champions, with riders from 10 nations and 3 continents. Racing was held off Leighton Beach, a renowned destination of white soft sand and perfect launching and racing conditions for kiting. The opening ceremony took place at the Championship Hotel the afternoon before the races started, where the international and Australian contingent of riders enjoyed a warm welcome from the local organisers and authorities. The first day of racing of the qualifying series and equipment preparation is key, as racers waited for the local sea breeze to fill in around midday.
Expectations for WA, it's just, learn about more of myself. It's sunny, it's gonna be windy, the forecast looks great, everybody's getting ready, and this is the last event of the year. WA, it's been awesome. The organization is wonderful. We got picked up from the airport, and that's really hard to get, and people is really friendly.
The 41 men's entries were divided in 2 fleets, with the women racing in 1. 48 riders were competing, representing 10 nations and 3 continents. In the mix were world and European champions competing, including the top 3 ranked men course racers. Many of the top 10 women's racers were also there, including the highest ranked racer at number 4, Goma from Spain. In a steady breeze of around 14 knots, 4 back-to-back races were completed in the men's fleet, with just 7 points separating the top 6 after some extremely close racing on this first day of qualifiers. The young Oliver Bridge, who was only 15 when he won this year's European Championships, raced in the Green Fleet and rode 4 strong races, securing a performance of all top 3 finishes. Not a bad start for this young kiter, who continues to show his ability in every event. In the women's division, France's Ariane Imbert topped the leaderboard, and on equal points in second place was Poland's Aga Grimska. Spain's Nuria Goma was following in 3rd place. Under clear blue skies, near-perfect breeze conditions and flat water on day 1 of racing, Germany's Florian Gruber leads the men on 4 points, Poland's Max Sokowski is in 2nd on 8 points, and Great Britain's Oliver Bridge is in 3rd on 9 points. In the women's division, France's Ariane Imbert tops the leaderboard on 6 points, and on equal points in 2nd place is Poland's Aga Grimska. The next 2 days served up lighter wind conditions. Crucial conditions for the men, as the second day of racing was the last of qualification for the Gold Fleet, which would see just the top 21 riders make the cut. Competitors arrived early down on the beach to make early preparations and kite selection ahead of racing. An anticipated building breeze encouraged a few racers to opt for a smaller kite in later races, but conditions averaged around 12 knots, so an unfortunate choice for some. Another 4 races on crystal clear waters for the men and women fleets. The usual riders were again at the front, with another exceptional day for 2013 world champion Gruber, who claimed 4 race wins, one of which he subsequently took a penalty for after jumping the start in race 6. Gruber has shown his form from early on in 2013 and gradually improved from event to event, showing exceptional improvement. With a sport as physically demanding as kiting, your physical training and preparation is important. This is where youth gives an advantage to athletes like Gruber and Bridge, who are able to peak for longer and push their bodies harder. The riders' heart rates get really high, which is why races never last more than 30 minutes. Kiting is a very demanding sport, which in addition to exceptional physical condition, calls for a great mind and mental approach to the sport. Riders need to choose the right side of the track and respond to attack from other riders. They need to read the wind and waves and every nuisance of a change in conditions as they push themselves and equipment to achieve optimum speed. Even if you have all these individual ingredients to success, putting them all together at the right time is a challenge. Not everyone can do it. Endurance is certainly key. The end of the second day found the top men's riders advancing to the gold group and a shot at the championship title. 2 more days of final races ahead of the medal race stage would pitch the riders in a battle to make the top 10 medal race cut. The 7 riders in the women's fleet raced an open series through to the medal races. The small but highly competitive women's fleet included 4 of the top 10 kiters in the world. Top ranked was Nuria Goma from Spain at number 4, with the Polish rider Aga Grimska the world number 5 and bronze medalist at the Kite Racing Europeans, so past form indicated they would have the closest tussle. 4 more races on day 2, and it was Grimska who took over the lead from France's Imbert after winning 3 of the 4 races. Imbert was chasing hard and managed to claim a win in the penultimate race of the day. With the bullets wrapped up by these 2, there was no chance for the other riders to get a look in, and the points margin between Grimska and Imbert and the rest of the riders started to stack up. Even after 2 days of racing, it looked as though the biggest battle would be for 3rd place and the bronze medal. Even the best make mistakes, but being able to race with a clear mind and without worry of making a mistake is key. This approach enables the riders to push themselves harder and ultimately secure an advantage. Consistent racing and solid results deliver success, which was massively in evidence here on Leighton Beach.
I fight a lot with Aga. Yesterday she win 2 races and I win 2 races yesterday, so we was to equality. And today I win only 1 race, so she takes the 1st place.
With 8 races now completed, the men's fleet is led by Germany's Florian Gruber on a perfect 7 points, with the young Oliver Bridge from Great Britain moving up to 2nd overall on tiebreak over Poland's Max Zakowski, who drops to 3rd. Aga Grimska holds the lead in the women with a 2-point advantage over Ariane Imbert, and then a significant 13 points behind is Nuria Goma of Spain. The consistent performances from the top riders continued on day 3, the first day of the men's finals. Gruber was on a bullet spree, with only Bridge managing to steal a bullet from him in race 10, when Gruber hit some seaweed and was forced to tack early. The 2013 world champion was performing at the top of his game, and for sure his world title secured just a few weeks beforehand was a major psychological boost here. Gruber's races were clean and simple and without any mistakes. He always managed to round the top mark in 1st place and then hold on to his lead. After a bad opening series of races during qualifications, it was time for the veteran Italian rider Riccardo Lecese to come up front again, and after knocking some solid race finishes in the top 3, was back in contention for a medal. Lecese was probably the most experienced kiter among the fleet, and having to face 4 riders under 21 years of age in the top 5 spots was both an advantage and disadvantage for him. Along with Gruber and Bridge were Poland's Zakowski and Ozog. Although Lecese carried far more experience as he had competed at numerous more events, he had the challenge of the energy-driven youth who were relentless in their push to be in front at the finish line. It was a rare sight to see 4 such young riders at the top of the Gold Fleet. After these 4, the next under-21 athlete was racing in the Silver Fleet. In the women's fleet, there was no rider competing in the under-21 category, but that was just coincidence here. There are numerous under-21 riders competing in the women's events and making an assault on the top of the leaderboard at major kiting world championships, but just not here at this year's Oceanics. At the 2013 Kite Racing World Championships, 2 riders aged under 21 finished in the overall top 10. Impressively, not only were they under 21 years old, but both under the age of 15. They were not able to compete in Perth as their education obligations understandably do not allow them to travel as much as many of the other athletes competing here. It is a tough choice, but something many young athletes across many other sports have to understand and manage. By the end of day 4 and ahead of the medal races, Gruber still dominated in the men, with Grimske holding firm in the women.
I have a good run now. I'm super happy to be world champion. It was a dream to be world champion, and now it's true. And yeah, I'm still young, 19 years old, so I have a few more years in kitesurfing. And now everyone wants to beat me. In Melbourne I managed it to get first as well, so yeah, I try the same and can hold it in a few more events. I will be super happy, but no one is sleeping, everyone wants to push, and so if I'm second or third in one of the next events, that's life. And yeah, but I train hard and will do my best.
With 3 days of racing wrapped up, Germany's Florian Gruber continues to dominate the men's fleet and incredibly has won 11 of the 13 races so far. In the women, Poland's Aga Grimske leads with a 3-point advantage over France's Ariane Imbert, with Spain's Nuria Goma another 13 points behind in 3rd.
And we'll have more kite racing after the break. And later in the show, it's sailing action from the 470 Worlds and the NACRA 17. See you in a couple of minutes.